Is there any special reference to the pyramids uncovered in Bosnia most recently?
This is one of the locations that you are in the process of reactivating, you could say. As you might have understood, there are quite a bunch of tunnels below there, or maybe you do not know that yet. There are quite a bunch of tunnels that were closed off, and now very devoted volunteers, groups of people from their heart's calling, have decided to help clear them out. And that too symbolizes something that you are doing with your society as you are opening up, in a sense, the many, many wiggly pathways that are hiding down there in your inner basement, so to speak. The deeper feelings, the deeper secrets, in a sense. Everything is being asked to be put in the light, to be seen in the light, to become accessible, so that people can choose, do we wish to go in that direction or not? As a symbol, you could say the clearing out of these tunnels is doing a similar thing, physically, energetically, on both levels, because of the intention with which this is being done right now. Do you understand?
Yes.
That's something we can share with you concerning that area, and we know there is a lot of other research already going on there that you can very playfully, and we know you will have fun with that, do your own research for. But we cannot just spill all the beans just yet.
I understand. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I wondered if there's anything you'd like to share about your own civilization and your own, I don't know, your process, your own evolving processes in the past. It would be interesting to know more about you and your experiences. I know that's a broad.
Where to begin? Yes. Well, roughly speaking, you may have heard this before, but to keep it in alignment with the topic of the transmission of today, your Earth, your Gaia, like we said very briefly before, there is a version where she chose to evolve in a way to facilitate for the human race living on her surface, so to speak, to explore a path that had what you could call a dead end. You understand?
Yes.
So these people mutated themselves to such a degree that eventually, in order to survive on their planet, they had to move below ground. So again, a little also synchronicity with the idea of the tunnels. And you guys now, referring to the Bosnian pyramids, clearing them out, not saying that they moved into those tunnels before people start making connections in that way. On that version of Earth, they had to move below ground because the atmosphere above ground had become uninhabitable. There was not enough oxygen anymore. They had destroyed nature beyond a point of no return. And then they began to see. They also found themselves at a point where their own DNA and their physicality had developed to a form where reproduction was no longer possible. And they suddenly began to see, with their very rationally oriented minds, wherein they got very, very developed, which is a journey with a beauty of and onto itself. That's how we look at this. And a storyline that needed space within all that is. So it got that space with the love of that version of Earth. They co-created that storyline. And then, when they found themselves at this dead end, they realized with the DNA that we have, we cannot even artificially procreate ourselves anymore. We cannot even continue the path of, in that sense, cloning that they had already begun some time ago. So in order to keep their species alive, for the primal existence of that species, they realized we need to find a way to find viable human DNA so that we can bring back into our overall systems some of the life spark that we have basically squeezed out of it along the way, because we forgot how to love. We forgot how to be grateful. They forgot the emotional gifts that you're all naturally born with. And they had taken them out of the overall equation along their way with their deep passion/obsession for technology and knowledge. So they found a way, with help of other extraterrestrial species, must be said, to organize themselves in such a manner that they could, quote-unquote, tunnel back through time to a point in, quote-unquote, history on another, quote-unquote, past version of Earth, where humanity was still having the free choice into what direction they would further now develop. And their DNA was still viable and could be used for what is now understood to be the hybridization program. This is where our story as a hybrid race, I'm one member of such a race, begun. So these humans that we just described that had to move underground is what you now understand to be from particular sharings of encounters and stories that are being called abductions, the Greys. Yes? Yes. So, that was a version of future human race that had co-created for themselves with their version of Earth, that storyline. In order to not only have their own species to see the light of another day, but also to bring a gift in return for being able to use this DNA, which was always agreed upon on a higher self level in every specific case, in every specific incident. Nothing was ever forced upon any of the human beings from your time frame in the cooperation within that hybridization program. But in order to also repay, in a sense, the willingness for these people that they understood through their own forgetfulness that comes with the game as you have chosen to play it, back then more so than now, but that definitely came with the game. Through this forgetfulness, sometimes these experiences weren't all that pleasant. To quote-unquote repay this fraction of humanity that was involved in these type of contributions, they brought you contact, in a sense, eventually, with us, your children. And what we bring you is the information that we share with you today. And any other day when we are cross-connecting our energy frequencies the way we do. What we offer you with the information that we are sharing is another route than the one that the humans that eventually turned into the Greys took. That is what we can offer you as our gift in return. But obviously, and of course, free will above all, it is up to you to take that or leave it. I am one member of the youngest hybrid species that came from this hybridization project, the 5th. We call ourselves the YahYel. You may find that names of hybrid species, such as ourselves, have overlap with certain languages on your Earth today. For us, we can share with you that the YahYel is a word, a name that you can trace back to your Hebrew language and can be understood as light lives on, God lives. And by God, we mean, obviously, all that is. And with that name, we remind you of our connection, our genetic family connection. And we let you know indirectly, because we know, we understand how that word resonates on another level within your beings when we say YahYel, what it does for you. It touches upon energetically, for those that are sensitive to this, that little piece of information that you are remembering, that there is a continuing path, that there is always a possibility, an open door, a quote-unquote answer, solution to the challenges that you may now find or observe in the reality that you are co-creating together on this version of Earth. So we come in peace. We come in love with all of you to let you know, to help you remember that that option is always available. Is there any other curiosity? This is a very rough outline of, quote-unquote, our history, where it began, where it brought us, that you would like to know about.
No, I don't have the capacity to form any more.
Okay, you're having a nice shower, aren't you? Of our love.
Yes.
You're so welcome. And we thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sweet dreams, darling.
Thank you, I will.
For anyone else curious, potentially, we're also just going to throw in a little bit more information about that idea of our species and how it developed. As you may be able to imagine, between the idea of the grays and where we are, the YahYel, there is a gradual shift in appearance. We are the most human looking, you would say, at least, we understand, of all the hybrid species. As the youngest race, the highest percentages of your DNA are within our beings, and we have been created and have co-created ourselves, because we are also our own independent society by now, and procreating by now, in that sense, naturally, without the idea of artificial assistance. We are more looking like you than all of the other ones. We are able to blend in to your society rather unnoticed if we choose to. But this is still a rare phenomenon, though it can happen. And we may come and peek around the corner now and then. Just another tidbit of information that we were excited to share with you. Yes!
Hello.
And hello to you.